guys, Hannah here and welcome to today's mini Zentangle session. Today is week 4, day 5, and the materials we're going to need are, as usual, a black micron pen. If you don't have one, a black biro, a black pencil, an earbud and a white square of card. And this one measures 5 by 5 centimetres. If you'd like to pause the video, go and get your materials, and when you're settled comfortably, we can begin. Starting with our pencil, we're going to draw the border the way that we have done for most tangles so far. And then this is another grid pattern, so I'm drawing a straight line from the bottom left corner to the top right, and then on the right hand side I'm going to draw 2 more lines dividing it up again, and then repeating that the opposite side. I'm turning my tile so I can draw a line going in the other direction and repeating either side. Now I know I've gone a little bit quickly with that, and that's purely and simply for those ones of you that want to actually draw in pencil. For those of you that want to start off and feel confident drawing in pen, here we go. So I've drawn all of the lines going in that direction. I'm now turning my tile and doing the lines in the opposite direction, and this will leave us with a grid on the diagonal. So we have something that looks a little bit like that, and this tangle is very simple. So I'm going to start with a full square so you can see what I'm doing rather than one of the corners. And I'm just drawing a line like that. It's almost a complete U. But then instead of going to the top, I'm drawing across. And I'm then going to repeat it. And I'm going to continue to repeat it going round and round. So we have something that looks like a square version of a spiral, if you like. Then going to the square to the right of it, and I'm going to repeat, and you'll notice that as I'm doing it I'm concentrating to make sure that my lines are as equal distance apart as you can get, if that makes sense. And I'm just going to carry on until I finished all of the ones that are full. And then I'm going to come back, and the ones that aren't a full square, like this one and these ones, I will show you how I draw them. You might draw them slightly differently. But as long as they're all going in the same direction, it will be fine. Oops, a daisy, had a bit of a wobble there. So let's use this one here as an example. The first line we're drawing is fine because we've got the space. The second one we are stopping at that pencil border. I'm then going to imagine it's going up there, and I'm carrying on and just drawing round. This one is a little bit different because there isn't any further to go, but in my mind I can imagine that's the way that it would look. The same with this one, and this one we're not going to get all the way to the bottom, but the second row in we will. And the same there, we're not going to get all the way to the bottom. Now this one is slightly different because we can go up and across And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to turn this tile over, and without the square, the way that it's going to look if you didn't have the square either side of it is that. And as long as you always start at that point and you continue to repeat it, you will end up with something that looks the same. Now they might be slightly different because it will depend upon how you drew your grid to start off with, but the principle is the same. So even if I turn this upside down, what I'm looking for is where that first point starts. And then once I get myself back again, I know where I'm going. And then I'm just going to finish the last few, and I'll show you how to put some shading on. The shading with this is extremely simple. So that was the first line that we drew across, and that was the second, and you'll notice that I'm going just above that line. And I've drawn all 5, and then the same with this one. I'm just turning it and I'm just going above the first line that I drew. And this is where you can use your earbud, although this one doesn't really need too much in the way of shading because I think it actually looks quite nice the way that it is. And when I've done this, I will show you some examples. And that's the finished one for that. So here's one I drew where when I reached the centre, I actually coloured in the black square. Here's one where, again, it's drawn on the diagonal, but the shading, I've just made sure it doesn't go over any of those sections. This one I drew in sections so that they're all different, but then I've mirrored them going down like tiers. And then finally this one is a little bit of a puzzle when you look at it. It looks extremely complicated, but it's not. And I'll show you on the back of the first one how I've done it. So you'll notice that each square, that point is always the same. So I've added shading from corner to corner and then from corner to corner. So each one of these, the reason why it looks a little bit of a trick of the eyes, if you like, is because each one of them has that triangle in pencil on the inside. So it's drawn exactly the same way as this one, but the reason why it looks so different is because of the shading. So that's something that you can try out yourself. If you want to add more dramatic to it, you can always put the cross in pen, and again you'll get a completely different pattern at the end of it. I hope you've enjoyed today's session. Please join me tomorrow for our outline, and I look forward to seeing all of your artwork. Bye for now.